Hello, our little spooks.
I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Lexi. Welcome to the Guarded by Demons podcast, where we discuss all things horror.
Happy August, everyone. A new month brings new topics. And this week, listeners, we're discussing found footage horror. We also have a special guest with us.
Hello, how's everyone doing? I'm Jorge. I'm new to podcasting, and I'm just really glad to be here and talk about probably one of my favorite genres of horror, just because it's so unique and it's honestly it feels personal.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, it's a very unique genre in the horror films.
It is from the clips I've seen. I've never seen any found footage except for lost tapes on Animal Planet, but we'll talk about that later.
And that counts.
That does count.
That does count. I did make a note of it in here. I was like, even though it's not a film, I'm just gonna do lost tapes in here because it's found footage and it is horror.
Before we start getting into it, do you guys mind if I mention like found footage, not just in the horror genre, but just kind of like all encompassing as well, just because it can kind of blend genres and it's just an interesting genre of film that I kind of wanted to touch on very briefly, the different aspects of it and like how it kind of has a cultural impact, just even outside the scope of horror.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Go for it.
Yeah, that is like all good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so what is found footage? According to Google, the definition is found footage is a cinematic technique in which all or a substantial part of the work is presented as if it were discovered in film or video recording. The events on screen are typically seen through the camera of one or more of the characters involved, often accompanied by the real life off-camera commentary.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty solid definition of it, because it's exactly how it sounds. It's always presented in some sort of fashion of, here's footage that we found and we're showing it to you. So I feel like it's kind of like a fourth wall break almost, where they're inviting the viewer into the universe of whatever they're showing.
Well, definitely, because like honestly, like the found footage genre has like an array of topics and movies. Like honestly, the majority of what I've seen while researching this, that there is a lot of sci-fi. There's a lot of like paranormal, apocalyptic, cursed, or like mockumentary type of found footage.
The cursed? There's cursed?
Yeah, there's movies that are like, I'll get to it when I get to a movie. Because like I also have another list of found footage movies, mainly in like horror. And some of them are claimed to be cursed.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, it's a really cool kind of, like I said, it's breaking the fourth wall in a sense where, it's aware that it's a film.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that.
So I'm going to go over like what I have written, and if you guys ever want to like jump in, go for it.
Yeah, okay? Absolutely.
Okay. So I stated from the definition, the genre's overall theme is the film is either found by someone and we are seeing the journey of the person or the group and find out what exactly happened to them. Or the film was put out to the public by one of the survivors who wanted to make a tribute or warning for the public. The main thing that they have in common is that they want to show everyone the truth, or they want to show the unbearable for sick pleasure. And there are two types of like found footage horror specifically that I found, and there's the big budget types like Cloverfield, who use it like the same way as like smaller budget films, but it's not trying to really immerse you into the world that it's in. It's just there to show you what it is, but it's not really convincing that it could happen to you. And then there is like the smaller budget films like Paranormal Activity and the Blair Witch Project that make it more believable and try to make you relate to these characters because they're presented like they're just everyday people taking like home footage and documenting their everyday lives. They're like, they're like people and the stories that they tell are more in line of what could possibly happen to you in any moment.
Absolutely. funny that you mentioned the Blair Witch, because I feel like when it was released in, I believe it was released in '99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it was released, it's almost funny to say now, but people actually started calling
The
the
families.
production company, the families, and also calling the production company and the people that back the film. They're like, well, how can you put this in theaters? Why are you showing real people dying? And it's just
Yeah.
so interesting that a film has that kind of force behind it. It has that kind of immersion where it truly makes you think that you found someone's video camera or cassette and you're huddled around other people watching something that you can't really explain, but it happened.
Yeah, like I read that the audience was just audiences were so convinced that the Blair Witch was real that they actually sent condolence cards to the families of the actors.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. I wasn't alive yet, so I can only imagine how fucking chaotic the world was when this movie first came out and nobody knew whether or not the actors were alive.
I was only 3 when this came out.
God.
Yeah, I believe I was 4 when it came out. But like if you think about it, it was a time before free information like we have right now, before someone can just Google a name and be like, okay, yeah, they're still alive.
Yeah, they're okay.
So
It's fine. This is fine.
Yeah, no.
So it and it's even interesting to see how found footage has evolved with technology too. Because like you have something like Unfriended, which is a found footage film in the sense that it takes place on webcam feeds. Like there's no actual camera set up aside from like webcams where you have
it was
these
just
people.
filmed like on Skype, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah. Where you just have these people that are just these actors that have to really immerse themselves in a role, because it's not on a set. I mean, it is on a set, but it's not like a traditional set where they have that kind of.
It's not like where they have like a whole crew with them. It's usually just themselves and the camera.
Yeah. So it adds that extra element of acting. So and to go back to the Blair Witch too, that film was so groundbreaking in terms of what the director did to his actors. The director of Blair Witch actually made them go hungry, so that way they can be a little bit more agitated during some of their scenes.
Damn.
And he even withheld information as well, where I believe it's in the scene where they're in their tents and it's night and they're camping, where some of the noises he didn't explain that, oh, we're gonna make this weird noise over here, or we're gonna have this screaming in the distance. He just kind of told them, okay, camp out and we'll just record you.
That's so scary.
Yeah, so some of their terror is truly genuine, and even some of their rage during the scenes where they're trying to find the map, which, if I remember correctly, the director actually, the director actually, if my memory serves me right, had someone in the crew take the map, so they were legitimately looking for the map for a portion of it.
Damn.
Before they realized that that's part of a scene. Yeah, there's a lot of little Easter eggs or little tidbits of information with the Blair Witch Project that make it such an interesting project for me. Like on it, not only is it just a good found footage film, you can enjoy watching, dim the lights, throw it on, you feel immersed in a whole new world. The actual production behind it was just so interesting too, because it's this whole different element of how a director interacts with his actors.
I definitely want to do an episode on the Blair Witch Project one of these days, because I've been wanting to see it for several years now, and I just haven't gotten around to watch it. But now we've actually got an excuse to watch it, aka this podcast.
Yeah, and honestly, it all just dates back to this idea of it's called cinema verite, which is truthful cinema, which it was a documentary style that was done in the 50s and 60s, where they would try and be a fly on the wall. They would try and have this documentary where it was as one-on-one as possible, as truthfully, like it's in the name. It's just wanted to be true to what actually was happening in these different segments of life, you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry, how do you?
No, you're good.
Quit passing it around.
Sorry.
No,
But that like brings me back to this, where like what I found like the first instance of found footage or like any remnants of it would be from the like 1960 film Peeping Tom, where like the main character is filming these like women getting their reactions, having like a weapon against them and capturing their fear on tape. Like you get both the POV shot and the like regular what you expect like from a movie shot, like third person or something.
yeah, no, that's definitely really cool that you're seeing them splice the different connections, where you're seeing essentially the found footage of the film, but you're also seeing the actual movie footage of the film, where
Yeah.
you're blending the two. So that's honestly really cool. And you said that was in the 60s.
Yeah.
And that's still a cinematic technique that's being done today, where you have, even in like the MCU, you have portions that are actual film, and you have other portions where it's, oh, so and so is FaceTiming me, let me look at what's going on, and that continues to tell the story. So it's just really cool to see found footage just branch out everywhere.
No, it definitely is. Like I really love how they were able to capture that, you know?
Kind of like how found footage is kind of starting to ebb its way into the video game world as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be really cool to do in general.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, in fact, I believe it's Fatal Frame kind of plays with that kind
Yeah.
of with that concept, where you have the footage of you playing the game where you're physically watching the player, and then you have the pictures that you take where that's part of the game, and that's in essence found footage as well.
Yeah, very good example. Very good example. And the footage you find in Resident Evil 7 of the ghost hunting crew when they go through the Baker house.
Yeah.
Even the demo
that's also like
is homage to the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
I fucking love that. I thought it was like a thing.
In some aspects, I love Resident Evil 7. In some aspects, though, I really love the demo more than 7. It's like as a whole. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's kind of like for me in the same way that PT worked, where it was short but terrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm still sad that PT got canceled, but I'm glad that we have what we have of it, because it was had of it, unfortunately. But it's just such a even though it's not found footage, it's such a it was a turning point for horror games.
Yeah.
Because there's so many replicas of PT now, and even Resident Evil 7, just the footage part of it is also reminiscent of PT. So I think that's really cool. Again, found footage is slowly ebbing its way towards in video games, and I think that we could do with more of that.
Oh, definitely.
I would play that, but also be horrified to do
so. So like continuing on with this, like from what I found, like the majority of the film industry had agreed that the subgenre first came with what we associate today, with how we associate with found footage today, where it's like you are discovering this film, or it was like unearthed, you know?
Yeah.
And that would be I'm probably not gonna say his name right because it's in Italian, but it's Ruggero Diodato.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. I speak a little bit of Italian. You can type it out and I can try and fancy it up. So that looks like, honestly, you're pretty spot on. It's Ruggero Diodato.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Did it.
So honestly, like this Cannibal Holocaust made the blueprint for the genre it is today.
I made note of that as well.
So the synopsis for Cannibal Holocaust is Harold Monroe, an anthropologist from New York University, leads a rescue team into the Amazon rainforest to locate a crew of filmmakers. The crew had gone missing while filming a documentary on local cannibal tribes, and when the rescue team is only able to recover the crew's lost cans of film, an American television station wishes to broadcast the footage as a sensationalized television special. Upon viewing the reels, Monroe is appalled by the team's actions and objects to the station's intent to air the documentary. Now, with Cannibal Holocaust, there was a lot of controversy regarding this film.
Yep.
And as we all know, the animal cruelty that occurs in the movie is 100% real.
I'm not okay with that.
What you see on screen is actually what happens to the animals anyway. But that's what made everyone feel uneasy. With the animals being real, people thought the crew was actually dead or eaten.
Jeez.
Or even if they knew that the people were okay, the public still felt uneasy because of the violence overall. Another fact is that the director gave them a contract, gave the crew a contract, and stated that they cannot get hired for any other acting jobs because they had to pass off as if they were actually dead.
Jeez, bro.
And this backfired because a judge in Milan accused the director of having the actors killed. And the director had to bring the crew into a courtroom to prove that it was just a film and none of the events actually took place.
I think that's so wild. I don't know why. I know why. It's just,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Oh my god, how do I even state this? This poor dude, because I've never seen Cannibal Holocaust. I don't know if I want to.
I've seen half of it.
I know you have. I've seen it on your continue watching list on Shudder.
Thanks.
But it's such a genius move to do. Risky, clearly, a genius thing to do to like have your actors not audition for any other roles while this is going on. Just like it makes the audience more immersed in what's happening.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really fascinating way to go about it. Albeit a little fucked up, but still fascinating.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. The part that I'm like that makes me wonder about that part of it, about the whole contract, not being any other film. What if this film was a commercial success and like these actors were like being practically begged to come back and like, oh, I loved you in Cannibal Holocaust. Why can't you just, be in my film? Like I feel like as an actor, I like if I put on an actor hat and like think about what I would want, I don't know if I'd be cool. Like if I'd be comfy with, signing something like that where it's essentially boxing me out of a career that, I train all these years to get to.
That's true.
Yeah, because it's like a whole year without
Yeah.
a paycheck, without a steady
Yeah.
income.
Yeah. Isn't it like is it a cult classic now? Or am I not thinking correctly?
Kind of. I
Kind
know
of.
it for sure has a following. It for sure has people that, are like, oh, this is a really one of the best horror films ever made, that they kind of
Yeah.
play it up a
Yeah.
bit. Personally, I think it's a good film in the idea of what it meant for history and like how it changed the genre. I personally am not a fan of the animal cruelty that happened in it.
No.
And
I was not okay with it in Friday the 13th.
But also, that movie was a product of war.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was also like inspired by war. Like the director said that he was inspired to make the movie because his son told him to turn off, his 7-year-old son told him to turn off the TV because there was too much blood and violence going on in the news.
Damn.
I mean, that hasn't changed though.
It hasn't
No, it
changed
hasn't
at all.
If anything, I feel like it's gotten worse. I feel like,
Yeah, because
the-
you're seeing it more in real time, and it's just it's something that you don't really want to like associate with when you watch like movies for entertainment,
Yeah. It's definitely much different from seeing somebody actually getting hurt. If it's for entertainment purposes, it's fine. But actually seeing somebody get actually physically hurt is a whole just different animal. And I don't like it. It makes me feel really bad.
Yeah.
And I do have a question about Cannibal Holocaust.
What's up?
I don't know if this is correct, and I don't know if this is if it's the movie I'm thinking of for this, but is Cannibal Holocaust one of the reasons why we have the whole thing at the end of movies where no animals were harmed in the making of this film, or was that a different?
Yes and no. If I remember correctly, it contributed to it because it's one of the most cited sources for animal cruelty and something that's widely released. But I know there was I'm trying to remember because I actually looked into it. It was after it's escaping me right now, but it was after a film where it had, I believe, a nationwide release, and people were worried about the animal cruelty that was happening and that was being depicted in the film. Where I think the MPAA actually contacted I believe it's the ASPCA or another organization, and they had them kind of do stamps of approval on films now. Where
it's always ASPCA saying no animals were harmed in the making of this film.
Yeah.
I also like this is kind of off topic, but about the animals thing, I like when people do a little twist of all animals were treated with love and care on the set. I don't know why. It's very endearing. I like it though.
No,
Markiplier did it in Space with Markiplier because he's got his 2 dogs in it, and it was I don't know. It was.
Yeah, it's the added touch of personality, and it wasn't just they weren't harmed. It's no, they're cherished on the set.
Yeah.
Animals are actors too,
I love that that's a thing that people do.
It's
now
just,
because of
cute.
No animals were harmed in this. I love that they do the opposite.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, the animals were treated with love and care and were spoiled while they were on set. It's fucking cute. I also like a thing that and this is just a thing that I mostly, especially with Stray coming out recently, noticed where they actually listed the not the actors but the cast members' pets as part of the crew in the credits. So I thought it was really cute.
That's adorable.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to ask. Was that? Because I feel like that's where I read that.
Amazing. So with found footage, there's usually 2 things to keep in mind with these films. One, how are you incorporating the camera into the story? And 2, how are you keeping it in the story? And that's honestly become sort of like a joke with these films.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they just turn off the camera, or why don't they just leave it behind? First off, if they did that, there wouldn't be a movie.
No.
You wouldn't have this thing.
And I mean, also, we're talking about Blair Witch here. If you know you're about to die and you have your camera and you want to document, you just want to you're going to document everything. If you know, not even that you're going to die, that you're in danger, you want someone to find it eventually and give them answers. Because if you go missing and nobody knows what happens to you, at least you'll have that little kind of fucked up closure, but it's closure. Oh
yeah, definitely. But also, they almost always ask and answer that exact question in the films.
Yeah, in the Blair Witch, they're doing a documentary about the Blair Witch.
It's really funny with this thing because it's honestly very hard to come up with ways where it's pretty natural or it makes sense in a way as to why these people keep filming themselves, or why they always want to put the events around them on footage.
Yeah.
And usually to answer these, it's pretty quick. The cast is always a film crew, and they establish early on that the film that they want are very committed to videotaping everything no matter what.
Yeah.
Which leads me back into the Blair Witch Project.
Mm-hmm.
So the Blair Witch Project also is the one that initially coined the term found footage.
Yes.
Before Blair Witch, they would usually use POV films as a name to identify these types of movies.
Yeah.
And the Blair Witch Project had the same effect that Cannibal Holocaust did, but it was a bit different. So with the Blair Witch Project, these characters were set up to be very realistic, even with the town interviews when they were going neighborhood. And like the three main characters just interacting with each other like they've been friends for years. The interviews alone make it believable because it's like that small town setting, and there's just people talking about this urban legend that they hear or that they've heard throughout the years living there.
Yeah.
And it also, I guess it kind of just helps that the director just told them to like get the cameras and go off into the woods.
Which is risky. Also,
it's very risky, but like clearly the actors got like instructions for what they had to do, but they only had knowledge of like the screenplay, and the whole entire movie was pretty much like
improv. Right?
Yeah. Like they had no scripts whatsoever.
Yeah,
everything was like completely improv.
And I say risky, like it's risky in more than one way. Firstly, it's risky to just go out in the woods, period, because there could be animals that could come after you.
Yeah, like
whenever.
You don't know what's out there.
And also, it's risky from a film point because, firstly, the Blair Witch didn't have a huge budget. It had like $300,000 to $500,000, which sounds like a lot, but for a movie, absolutely not. That's nothing for a movie. It's a big risk to allow your actors to have the freedom that they had in order to improvise most, if not all of the script in this, because it's either going to go really good or really bad. But clearly, the Blair Witch Project did really good.
Yeah.
Because people were convinced that these kids were fucking dead.
So the Blair Witch has been like parodied and tributed over and over again throughout the years, and for good reason.
Oh, we need to watch the Scooby-Doo Project.
Oh, God, I've seen that, and it's been years since I've seen that. It's so good.
I saw it once, but I want to watch it again because it was surprisingly creepy. Especially for Scooby-Doo. Yeah. In a weird way.
I mean, they're parodying like the Blair Witch. Of course, it's going to be like, it's more creepy because you think like it's Scooby-Doo. It can't be that like, scary or creepy.
Gives you the same effect as Zombie Island, because Zombie Island is, well, it's not as creepy as it used to be to me. It's still creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for it being a kids, yeah, exactly. For it being a kids movie, there's still a lot of elements where, they actually kept horror in mind and, played on that, had these, I don't want to say jump scares, but essentially slight jump scares where, they would introduce the character on screen suddenly, or
jump startle.
Yeah. Jump kerfuffle.
Jump surprise.
Yeah. But yeah, and like you were saying too, the Blair Witch has been parodied over and over and over again. Like The Simpsons did it, which they're a huge cultural footprint too. And then you have all these different films that, wanted to play on it. Like, I mean, there's even a Cartoon Network promo where they play on the Blair Witch Project.
That's fun. I love that. That's so fun. I think they showed the Scooby-Doo Project like once on Cartoon Network, and then they took it off because it was too scary.
Yeah.
Which I think is really funny.
Like I love that.
But yeah, they keep fucking Courage the Cowardly Dog on there.
That's not that bad.
I don't know, dude. Some of that shit looks fucked up.
I didn't think it was that bad.
That's because you've been spooky your entire life, dude.
Yeah, I guess. But we'll talk about we'll continue talking about Courage the Cowardly Dog whenever we get to like kids horror.
I'm so excited
October.
about that.
But again, like there's good reason why this movie has been like parodied or tributed over the years. Like this movie has changed people. And here's like the thing about this movie. You don't see anything regarding the witch. Like nothing is being shown. You can only hear and see what the characters are reacting to. And according to the two male actors, they didn't even know that the actress who played Heather recorded that scene when it's like her having the camera in front of her face and it's like the close-up.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know that she filmed that.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
God.
And
that's hilarious. They had no knowledge of probably like one of the most famous snippets of that movie. That's so funny.
That's amazing.
I fucking love that. When I read that, I was like, there's no way they didn't fucking know that. But apparently they didn't.
That's
I mean, if you think about it, that makes sense though, because it was such an intimate like,
and their characters would have known about it anyway because they fucking died.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. and like it was such like a you're inches away from her face in the shot.
Yeah.
Like
Just
it
tears and
was
snot running down her face and all that. Jeez. It's God, I love that. I want to know what their reactions were when they first saw that.
We can always look it up later.
Oh, I'm down.
Honestly.
I'm so down.
absolutely.
Yeah. So another thing that this film has in common with Cannibal Holocaust is the advertisement. The marketing for this movie made it seem like the actors were either missing or presumed dead. And
so smart.
I want to go back to that because it's like, it's 1999. The internet is just brand new. It's just like surfacing. So at the time, being how it is, it was really, really easy to make the marketing believable. So the creators of this movie made the BlairWitch.com. And the site was purely about the lore and the legend of the Blair Witch.
And also
nothing about like the movie, but they did have clips and they had like interviews.
Heather's journal,
yeah,
as well.
So they had like clips, they had interviews, they had pictures, and they had stories that would contribute to the lore of the Blair Witch. So it seemed like this was a real deal, and it was pretty genius because it worked. Like everyone thought these people were either dead or missing.
It feels like an ARG.
Yeah,
this is like an original.
Yeah, absolutely.
ARG. Which I think is really, really cool.
And what's funny about mentioning ARGs and found footage, Cloverfield itself did that as well, where they J.J. Abrams had multiple websites made where you can go in and enter information. There was people that, you know, really took this ARG to heart, this essential ARG, where they were they were dissecting portions of the trailer. They're trying to figure out what was going on. And even now there's people that are still dissecting the movie frame by frame, trying to get exactly what happened in the timeline, what everything means. So I just think it's really cool that ARG is a huge part of found footage as well, because it's
still going on too. Like, stuff's still being made. Like the Backrooms is an ARG. It's found footage ARG.
Yeah.
And I found out that was completely made in Blender.
Amazing.
Which doesn't look like Blender. It looks too realistic for Blender, but okay.
Wait till they get their hands on Unreal Engine 6.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be real fucked up.
Jesus.
Yeah. No, but especially in this current day and age where, you know, like I'm saying, there's so many ARGs. Like most of us will probably have one installed on our phone in Pokemon Go. That's an augmented reality game in one sense, where, you know, you're interacting with the real world to play a game.
I love that. ARGs are just like so fun. There's also like a bunch of them on Twitter too.
Yeah.
Where people are just quote unquote live documenting what's happening to them, which I think is really fun.
And what's funny too, there's I don't know if I'd consider it an ARG, but there's I see it every time I scroll through my For You page on TikTok. There's people that are on live on TikTok, and it seems like they're just showing found footage as it happens, where, you know, they're saying, oh yeah, I'm out on a ghost hunt, but, you know, I'm over here and it's 9 a.m. I know for a fact they're saying, oh, they're in the East Coast. I'm like, no, it's noon over there. I don't know why you're saying you're out on a ghost hunt at 2 a.m. when it's noon on the East Coast. I know you're doing an ARG kind of simulation where you're showing us not a program, but you're showing us something that's just footage. It's just
like not CCTV, but just like you're looking over footage that's already been filmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I'm just gonna go about ARGs for a second here. Like one of the first ARGs I ever found out about, and people debate whether or not it was real. The creator has not stated. Well, he said it's real, but I find that hard to believe. But like Dear David is a really good example of an ARG. If it is an ARG, he claims it's real. I'm on the fence about it, but like that's a good example. And the Gregory thread are good examples of the ARGs that we have nowadays.
Yeah.
Even though both are complete. Both are complete.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the series, but it almost harkens back to Marble Hornets on YouTube.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
probably one of my most favorite YouTube series to watch, just because it all felt so immersive, so real. Like,
I need to watch that.
yeah.
I actually here a few years, like not well, yeah, I guess like I'd say 5 years ago now. I actually was in Walmart and they had Marble Hornets on DVD there.
That's amazing.
I thought it was so cool because I had no idea I didn't know what it was firstly, and I was like, why is there? Because it's got Slender Man on the front of it. I was like, there's a Slender Man movie? What the hell?
That's actually really cool. I wonder if they actually splice the footage together so it happens in sequence. Because like, I don't know if you've been to the YouTube for it.
Yeah, there's like 80 something entries for it.
Yeah, and they're all numbered. So I wonder if it's
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, because that's really interesting if you get to watch it all in succession, where you see entry 1, entry 2, and
just, like,
so on.
It goes to show how like even the smallest, like there's not a small creator clearly anymore, but like because it blew up. But it goes to show how much you can do with like the found footage and with a small budget, because these guys probably were just doing it for funsies, and now Marble Hornets is on DVD. Like they probably never thought that was ever going to happen, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, to have a passion project, something that maybe you're doing on the side for fun. Well, you work your 9 to 5. You're just like, okay, cool. I want to do this for fun, and yeah, and then now you end up with this item that's receiving mass distribution in a very mainstream distribution site in Walmart. Like, your passion project made it essentially. And that's the power of found footage. That's something that I don't think any other genre of horror could accomplish.
Not easily, anyway.
Yeah.
Not saying that this would have been easy either, but like it's a really creative way to go about things. And I'm really happy for the guys who created Marble Hornets. Even though I've never seen a single episode of Marble Hornets, I'm still so happy for them, because that's an amazing thing to accomplish. Even just like coming from YouTube, where it's depending on what's trending and what's going on YouTube, it's very hard to blow up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Especially the way that they blew up.
Yeah, what's really cool too, it was during the old days of YouTube where, there wasn't as much like personalization.
Like...
Yeah. There wasn't as much of an algorithm. It was all kind of like, oh, this is in the paranormal genre. Here's 10 random videos that have been tagged paranormal. Good luck.
Yeah, because like Marble Hornets is almost 10 years old. It's 8 years old, because I checked it just recently. It's 8 years old, and I remember hearing about it. And I've never seen it, but it's crazy how different YouTube is now. I wish I do miss it a lot. I miss how old YouTube used to be.
Yeah, for me it was a real fun experience, because I actually kind of got into it as he was releasing videos too. So I was there at around the 40th video release. So entry 40. Yeah, so I had caught up to entry 40, and then I just had it set up so that way I would get an email alert whenever he posted another video, just because it was so intriguing to me and so immersive and so fun to watch. And obviously it would scare me, because that's what horror is about, and you enjoy that thrill of being scared and that kind of feeling in the back of your that feeling that feeling in the back of your mind where you're like, I know this isn't real, but holy crap, this is really fun, and this is you kind of suspend your belief, and you're just like, well, damn, there's this dude out in the Midwest that's being hunted by Slender Man. Holy shit.
Yeah, I love that. And it's just good fun. It's good fun. It's also a very nice way to safely get adrenaline.
Yeah, absolutely.
God, we got so sidetracked, but it's really cool. Found footage is cool. I'm glad we're doing this episode. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we're still in the early 2000s kind of speaking about found footage films. Like, we haven't even touched on Paranormal Activity as a film.
Yeah,
And
because the thing is, since it's still like the early 2000s, the reason why there wasn't really movies after like the Blair Witch Project, not only because like you can't really replicate it because then it's gonna slaughter everything from movie. If you make another one, that's just gonna ruin everyone's like fun with it, you know?
yeah, the collective suspended belief around this film.
But it's like really around this time when nobody was really making these, it shifted because of the cultural impact of 9/11. Like after 9/11, it made the genre sort of disappear because people were living like real life nightmares after that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it was sort of like a I guess like a dry spell
Yeah. Well,
for the found footage.
yeah, I mean, you turn on the news September 11th and you're watching real life horrors, and I'm sure people wanted that sense of escapism. People wanted that break from, oh, is this real or is it not real, kind of questioning of their media.
Halloween Horror Nights was like super successful that year because they wanted to experience the horror in a safe environment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is understandable. For sure.
Also, like that brought in when the found footage was like pretty much, I guess, kind of like dead or disappeared for a couple of years. That brought in torture porn, like Hostel and Saw, and a lot of people don't really think that like found footage and torture porn can like go hand in hand, but they can.
Unfortunately, they do.
Yeah,
depending on how far down the iceberg you are.
Yeah. Honestly.
Well, if you look at I believe the film's called the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yeah,
that kind of melded torture porn and that kind of genre of horror where it's just focusing on someone going through excruciating pain, lots of blood, lots of guts, that kind of stuff, and it blended it with that found footage aspect of, oh yeah, this guy taped him torturing all these people and we found it. It was a marrying of two genres.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a ton of movies that replicate that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's really disturbing. A lot of them are like unbearable to watch sometimes because even though again it goes back to like Cannibal Holocaust, where it's like nothing really happened to these people, but it's still disturbing because of what is being shown on screen.
Yeah, you kind of, even though you have that suspension of belief where you're like, oh, this isn't real, it's still just putrid to people.
Yeah.
And, you just kind of have that guttural reaction of, I don't want to watch this. It's kind of like, like in a weird sense, like car crash videos where, you have that.
You want to look away, but you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say I have to shout this guy out because, and me and Kimberly watched him here a couple months ago. There's a guy named Wendigoon who actually did a Disturbing Movies iceberg. It's like an hour and a half long, but he goes down the iceberg. Basically, the top of the iceberg that's above water is all of the horror movies that we know of and that we care for. Surprisingly, a Serbian film is far up that iceberg, but the deeper you go, the more obscure everything is, and basically the bottom of it is just literally snuff.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up.
Yeah, no, it's for sure crazy. There's actually, oh crap, I forget. I think it had something to do with World War II. It was branded a snuff film because it showed actual medical patients with procedures being done to them. But it's just insane what some people create into films.
Yeah, I do recommend. He doesn't show any. He does go into slight detail about it, but he doesn't show anything.
Absolutely.
He does give a synopsis of the films, and it's a long video. It's hefty, but we sat and watched it all together.
Yeah,
and it was fascinating. Also, Wendigoon's just a cool dude, so go watch that. It's a cool video.
Definitely.
His name sounds familiar. I think I seen. Hold on, let me look up YouTube real quick. I think he did a collaboration video with a YouTuber I follow called Mr. GG.
Yeah, I love Mr. GG.
Yeah. Yeah, because as soon as you said Wendigoon, it sounded familiar. I'm like, I could have swore this dude did a collaboration video.
Yeah, they're like buddies.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember they ran through like a bunch of different films. I think Mr. GG even got him to play I don't know if you guys follow him, but he does bad content pong where he plays beer pong with himself, and if he misses he has to sit through a video of bad content. I think he even got Wendigoon to do that, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no!
Oh my
I do
God.
follow Mr. GG, but I have not seen that. I'll have to check it out later.
Yeah, that one's hilarious.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he does it with a lot of like cringe videos and stuff like that too.
Oh, those are the worst.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, we got off track. It's fine though. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens every episode.
Yeah.
It's fine. This
So
is
it
why we
does.
need bloopers. But yeah,
You're completely fine, dude.
Mr. GG and Wendigoon. Go check those guys out. They're fun. They have good content.
But yeah, that's now that you pointed it out though, I honestly didn't even put two and two together with that absence of found footage from early 2000s till about Paranormal Activity. I just thought that, maybe people were cooling off on the genre and,
Yeah.
but I mean, that
Activity
makes
came out,
sense.
like
2009.
2009.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought 2007, but yeah, 2009.
So
Almost 10 years. Shit.
So, with that like dry spell, speaking of 2007, 2007 was the year that George Romero released another one of his Of the Dead series, which is Diary of the Dead.
Oh.
And it kickstarted the genre again. And it was really impactful in a way because it was coming from a well-known and established actor who was giving his own take on the genre. And the film is about a film student making a monster movie before a zombie apocalypse takes place. And Romero establishes why they have the camera, why they keep filming, and what exactly happens to the people. So he has like all the basics of the found footage genre, but it's also like what sparked interest again. Because during this thing, it's this conflict where everyone's like telling Jason, the main dude, stop filming and help and be in the moment with them because they're struggling to survive this whole deal. And he says in one scene with him and his girlfriend, because she's arguing like, why aren't you out there helping? Because he's uploading the footage online, and he's arguing with her that like there's views on this, there's so many people like viewing this footage that I put out. And his argument is that he wants to save, if he can save people with what they know and what he's able to capture, he will feel okay.
That's valid.
Yeah.
I can see both sides of the coin, though, for sure. Because on one hand, she wants him to help, but on the other hand, he's also helping more people by capturing what you should and shouldn't do. And I think I think you can definitely
You can see it both ways.
Both ways, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it both ways, but initially it's like that becomes his downfall.
Yeah.
It becomes his downfall in the end. And earlier when I said like, oh, there's people who have survived and released this footage, in the end, Jason does die because of his, I guess you can say selfishness, because he wants to continue doing this instead of going into like that little safe room that they have in the house. He gets bit, and his girlfriend basically after he dies, she accepts the fact that she wants to continue work. And she's the one that uploaded the film.
Gotcha.
Ooh, that's a cool touch.
That's
so
fun.
he basically fell victim to his own hubris.
Yep.
And he fucked around and found out, so to speak.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it.
Fuck around. I know.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, long story short, yes.
I want more movies like that. I want more horror movies like that. Fuck around and find out. I don't know why.
It's such a good movie. I fucking love it. But that's also just me because I'm partial to like zombie movies. Because zombies is like my favorite genre of horror. But also 2007 was also the year that we got the Spanish film Rec.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Now, Rec is a found footage mockumentary, and it follows a newscaster and her cameraman as they join a team of firefighters, I believe, right? It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, if it's actually Rec, they're following because I know Quarantine, which is the for lack of a better term, it's the anglicized version.
Yeah.
For Quarantine, the main character's following firefighters as they go on calls. For Rec, I think it's I'm trying to remember what the
I feel like it was firefighters.
yeah, I feel like actually it's the same thing.
Yeah,
but
because
I think
the thing is, like, Quarantine is a carbon copy of Rec, only
yeah.
English.
I don't know how I feel about that.
But like, they're following them on their like night shift, and they end up being quarantined in an apartment building after getting a call, where there is like a disease spreading within the residents. And the film impacted like this genre with how realistic and how like very frightening it was. Like, it had characters I actually really cared about, and it was like sort of fast paced with how the movie was. But from the director, they have said that it's different than other found footage movies. The film is basically broadcasted live. It's not found like others in the genre. So it does make it more easier like they are with the character.
Live leak? No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm kidding, but also like that's
That's
accurate.
Pretty accurate. Yeah, and that seems like
accurate.
something that the found footage genre kind of embraced as well. Because like I'm saying, like get Unfriended, where it's this idea that it's just raw footage that's being broadcast.
Yeah.
That's funny though. When I looked up Rec right now on IMDb, they have a little snippet of trivia here too. That says the actors were never given the script in its entirety, so none of them knew their characters' fates, and sometimes not until the day they were actually filming their scenes.
Oh my god,
that's actually really cool.
So a lot of the stress and apprehension are like actual from the actors being under stress, which seems like something that they pulled from Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Love how in sync we are sometimes, Kimberly.
So that leads us into 2009, which Paranormal Activity was released in 2009. So this was actually pretty like a huge thing for the genre because it was like a decade since Blair Witch. So not many people like really remembered Blair Witch. Like, if you were like pretty young in 2009, you remember. So Paranormal Activity was able to really stand on its own and have its own like cult following, giving new life into the genre.
Yeah, what's funny with Paranormal Activity that's kind of like a little quality of life, to use the tech term, a little quality of life, not improvement, but thing that they did, they made sure to address the femme. And I have to credit my partner for pointing this out. They actually use the characters' names and act like, they're saying, oh, thanks to so and so's family for allowing us to use this footage, especially in the later ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have, during I believe it's Warner Brothers that owns them. So right after the Warner Brothers logo flashes, and they set up that the movie's about to start, they have just a blank title card where they say, oh, thanks to so and so's family, or thanks to, I believe they said, a police department in one of the cities that one of them took place in. So something like that kind of continues that idea that the first one drummed up, where it's real, it's happening, it's something that happened here, and it could even be in our neighborhood. That kind of like augmented fear where it breaks that fourth wall again, that seems to be something that this genre really kind of not leans on, because I don't want to say it like it's a negative thing, but it's something that this genre likes to use. And they can use it either with actual tact and something where it has legs to stand on, like in Paranormal Activity, where it makes you feel like it's real found footage, or it can be yeah, or it can be something goofy like how in Grave Encounters, which is a terrible film, but it's so fun to watch. Where
actually what I wrote down. That's fun.
Where it feel it's a parody to Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
And it's a parody to all these ghost hunting shows, and it kind of but it also acts like it's a real ghost hunting show. So it's kind of like poking fun at them while also leaning on them. So that's something that I think this genre really kind of blends beautifully, where depending on the tone of the movie, it can boost the movie or it can make the movie feel cheesy. So that's something that's really cool with this genre.
God, Ghost Adventures used to be really good. It's still good, but for a different reason.
Yeah, I
you know
love
what I mean? It used to be like genuinely like creepy and shit, and I do think that they did find stuff back in the day. But nowadays, I'm like,
I still feel
still good, but it's not scary anymore.
I feel like the fact that they decided to not take themselves so seriously, like obviously in the first, God, it has I think 20 seasons. Shout out to Discovery Plus, that's where I watch it. But but in the first probably half of the 20 seasons, so the first 10 11 seasons, he definitely has that kind of very serious, this is a serious topic kind of vibe.
Biggest crush on Zach Bagans when I was young. Amazing. Man's just got muscles, dude. Like, geez.
Yeah, he wears those simple black t-shirts, rolls his sleeves up like he's a greaser.
Yes. I'm weak for it. No, seriously.
But and then as it hits season like 12, 15, whatever we're on now, I think it's on like season 24 or something dumb like that.
Jesus.
But they definitely stopped taking themselves so seriously. I think that's what makes it so feel lighter. It doesn't feel as impending doom or as like something awful's gonna happen. It's just a fun documentary series.
Yeah, there was a time where definitely not towards the beginning, but definitely not now, where it was really scary. Like, not because of the evidence they caught, but because of the stories of the places and the way, like, you know how they do dramatic reenactments with like people getting killed or something.
Yeah,
there was like a time where some of that was like really scary to me. Like,
I
remember there was one episode in particular. I don't remember what it was about or where it was, but there was like a lady who got her throat slit in her hotel room, and the way it was filmed and presented actually made me cry because it scared me so much. And Ghost Adventures had never done that before, and it hasn't done it since, clearly. But it was very interesting on how it got real scary there for a brief second. I don't know how that happened, but it happened.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, not to keep the offshoot going. Just to go back to Paranormal Activity, it's just a little tidbit that I wanted to share that, I personally really love that touch that they do, where they lean on that idea of almost guerrilla warfare in a sense, where, it's like, it could happen here, it could happen in my home kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have only ever seen like one Paranormal Activity movie, and it was Paranormal Activity, the I believe.
That's the one that took place in like Boyle Heights, East LA area, right?
Yeah.
That one has its cheesy moments where I'm like, oh, you guys are playing it up. But then it has its moments where you're like, I know this isn't real, but holy crap, is this fucking terrifying.
I think I only like it just because of like
the location.
Yeah, the cultural connection where you're like,
like,
dude,
that's the reason why I like it.
The scene where they're playing with the scene where they're playing with the Simon toy and trying to talk to the entity, and then Grandma comes in and she's like, "No, what are you guys doing? I don't like this. We're not doing that." That scene felt like, for me culturally, that's so hilarious because that's how an older Mexican lady would be. She'd be like, "No,
it's completely accurate." Like I remember, I think it was Adam and Lucy that made me watch it because they were like, yeah, I know you don't like Paranormal Activity, but you're gonna like this. And it was the one that I liked. And for obvious fucking reasons, it was the one that I liked.
Yeah.
And I remember when I watched it, I didn't like the scene when they went to the church. No.
Paranormal Activity with La Llorona. That'd be interesting, I think.
That would be cool, but I feel like culturally anyone that knows of La Llorona would be like, nope, don't want to deal with that.
You would not put her on camera. You would not film her. You would literally just run away.
That's true. Unless there's like nowhere for you to run. I was like literally just sitting here thinking, I'm like, what if they start filming because they woke up in the middle of the night hearing her weeping outside of their window or some shit?
That'd be a really cool like short film to do.
Yeah,
I don't think it would work as like a feature film, but as a short, I think it would work really good.
Please, yeah. I want that. I just want more good La Llorona content because, quite frankly, the Conjuring universe did not do a good job with La Llorona. Also, the way they pronounce her fucking name in the trailer, it was like La Llorona or something. Like, my Sharona? Hello? Like, no, stop. Say it correctly, please, for the love of God.
I can't roll my R's, so I can't say her name for shit.
I can kind of roll my R's, but not very good.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. My R rolling is not...
Kind of. Yeah. I could roll it once. That's it.
I cannot roll my R. But back to, like, Paranormal Activity.
Oh, is the marked ones really the only one you've seen?
Yeah, the marked ones is the only one that I've seen.
The one that I really like, and it's funny because it's kind of cheesy because it's made for 3D audiences.
Oh but my God.
The ghost dimension was honestly really, really terrifying as a Paranormal Activity, just because obviously you guys, I don't know. Have you guys at least seen like trailers of it or?
No,
because do you guys care if I spoil it?
No, I don't.
Spoilers. We got to give a spoiler warning. Somebody go get mad.
Spoiler warning for how old is that film? The film's got to be like at least like 6 years old. Dude, it came out in 2015. That's Holy 7 years.
Shit. Jesus.
Holy shit. But so obvious spoiler warning for Ghost Dimension, but there's scenes where the entity is just like this black matter that's moving around, and it's just obviously in 3D it looks cool because it's the 3D effects or whatever, but even in 2D it's really cool just because it feels ethereal, it feels not of this world, and they do a really good job at evoking that feeling of it not being of this world. And that's what I really like about that one, just because it still has that kind of campy, like, oh, it could happen here kind of feeling, but it also feels like intense and like a battle between good and evil, just because of the way it goes back and forth, where you have this entity that's trying to get the family's little girl to hop through a portal, and you have the fam.
Kind of want to look it up and see what it looks like. Let me grab my phone real quick.
Yeah, no, you're good. And like it's really cool because it does a good job of feeling scary as hell, just because it feels beyond you. It feels like something that is like, I personally, if I had any of the activity that was happening in that film happening to me, I would be incensed. I'd move out of the country. I'd be gone. I'd be like, nope, I'm not dealing with any of this. It can chase me if it wants, but hope it can fly in a plane.
Yeah.
Because what was it called?
The Ghost Dimension.
The Ghost Dimension.
Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's honestly one of my favorites, just because, like I said, it feels.
Ew, this little girl's face is creepy as shit.
Yeah, the little girl's creepy to begin with, like.
Ooh.
Without any yeah. But it's just intense.
That. Amazing.
And honestly, the ending reveal of like this weird demon that the pastor's trying to get rid of, it feels like oh crap.
Does the demon look kind of spiky?
No, it looks like crap, what's that movie? It's an action movie. It's post-apocalyptic. It has
Looks weird.
I forget who has in it, but it has a dude that has an ice cream parlor kind of getup, and he's just really long and like terrifying. It's like a mix between that and um the zombies from I Am Legend, just because it's very fleshy toned and stuff, but it's also like weirdly proportioned. It seems like a giant, but also lanky as hell. Honestly, the demon that they portray at the end scene where they're trying to battle it is just unnerving.
Does it look like it kind of has like a cavern going down the middle of its body?
Kind of, yeah.
I think I found it. Found concept art for it.
Amazing.
Creepy. That's like something from a horror game. I like it though.
Yeah, honestly, it's really interesting, and like I'm saying, I honestly recommend watching it just because it's, if you put aside the 3D gimmick that obviously they tried to push with some of these shots,
Mm-hmm.
it's very visually well done film in my opinion. Just because even though the effects can seem kind of hokey, but again, you just have to have that suspension of belief and just kind of immerse yourself in the universe. Like especially the scene, I don't know if you guys are watching the trailer or not, but the scene where the POVs, you're facing the woman who's the wife in the film, and then you just see this black like chasm of a creature come flying at you.
No thanks.
That shot alone is just intense.
Gross. Ugh. Cease and desist. Creepy as shit.
No,
I'm gonna have
and
to
like
ask you to stop.
no, and like I'm saying, like for it being a paranormal activity film, it just feels really enjoyable to watch.
Ugh. Some of these creatures in this movie look fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's
So many pointy teeth.
that's hilarious. Though I just seen that it has a 4.6 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
Whoops.
That's hilarious.
Every other movie on IMDb though.
Yeah, honestly.
Sorry, IMDb, but your shit is sometimes just not accurate, man.
It's also just a matter of personal opinion.
That's true. That's also very true.
That's insane. Including this movie, the franchise has a cumulative budget of 18 million, and the first 5 films of the franchise have grossed together around 811 million. That's insane. You made almost 800 million off of an $18 million investment over 5 films.
That's so much money.
Yeah,
It's life-changing money.
that's insane.
Oh boy.
But yeah, like the onset of Paranormal Activity for sure revived. Well, obviously, Diary of the Dead was the kickstart, but I think Paranormal Activity was what really got the engine going for this genre again.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Just because there's a huge boom of movies that came out after it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
And I was talking about this with Kimberly earlier. It's funny, but I have a niece. She's a year and 10 months older than me. But when the first Paranormal Activity came out on DVD, and my mom told me this, but they were sitting in the living room on the couch together watching it, and Adriana, my niece, was not saying anything, but mom looked over at her and she had she had silent tears just going down her face because it scared her so much. She didn't want to say anything, which I thought was funny. Also, she had to be like 10 or 11.
I love when little kids are exposed to horror movies, especially in like a controlled environment. Just because I feel like it's a fun genre to introduce, especially if you start with like the hokey stuff from like the 80s, 70s, where it's just like the effects are, for the time they were good, but now with computer graphics and everything, CGI effects back then
still hold up for some movies.
No, definitely some do. I'm not saying that all effects are bad, but like especially like I love rewatching the old Nightmare on Elm Street just because some of them, especially the back end of the series, like the one where Freddy Krueger has his power glove and it just making fun of itself, where the effects just are so hokey and so funny to see.
Just like the blow up doll being pulled in through the window.
Yeah.
Which I think is really funny. But God, I'm having so much fun talking about these. This is so fun. I
Yeah,
do
it
want to
absolutely
see.
is.
I want to at least see the first Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, the first one's good. Honestly, it's a little bit slow at times, but
Mm.
I think that's just because they're playing up the tension, the natural like want from a person for the film to continue, and they kind of play on that. They play on tension building. There's for sure a few random jump scares in there, but I mean
Yeah.
overall, it's I
And it's
wouldn't
also. Sorry, keep going.
no, I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it's for
No.
sure a fun film to watch. Like
Yeah.
especially if honestly, the biggest thing with this genre as a whole is just suspension of belief, just being able to kind of immerse yourself into it.
Yeah. It's also like in regards to the slowness, somewhat realistic because if you believe in the paranormal like we do, it is fairly realistic in the aspect that sometimes things don't happen, some things happen quickly or slowly. It just all depends, honestly. Obviously, like the climax of the movie is probably questionable, but you know, just as a
Absolutely.
general thing. If you believe in the power and you come across this completely blind, not knowing anything about it, it can probably seem somewhat realistic to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
absolutely. Yeah, especially if, like I said, you have that suspension of not suspension of belief, but you have this belief in, the paranormal. You're not as skeptical as some can be. You just kind of have that like, yeah, I think ghosts are real, or I think this is real. It can definitely hit that kind of perfect stride where you're like, this doesn't seem that drastic. It's for sure plausible.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah, to an extent, of course.
It depends on what people have experienced. Puppy, but it depends on what people have experienced and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as crazy as it seems that somebody's getting dragged out of bed by their foot, I have heard of people actually having that happen to them.
Yeah.
So, like, who knows? Like,
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
believe in the paranormal, but I do approach it with like, what if this was the actual reason that happened?
Yeah.
Getting your leg
Absolutely.
pulled by an invisible force is kind of hard to bunk. TBH.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know you guys are doing ghost stories and paranormal experiences episode up I believe next month. So like I'll
October.
definitely yeah. I'll definitely be sending some stories your way just because it's something that I've had paranormal experiences my entire life,
Yeah.
growing up, my mom is a firm believer in the paranormal, so that kind of
Yeah.
transition to me too. So
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about what we. It's gonna be very fun
yeah, absolutely.
for me. Kimberly, not so much.
No, it's funny that Kimberly's kind of hesitant about it. I'm just because I can honestly say at a previous house, I've had experiences there too, and like she was around for I think one or two of them too. So I know that's something that Kim's like, oh,
Yeah.
Shit still happens with us.
So things have going on to this, I guess, paranormal experiences for a little bit. Things have always happened to me since I was a kid, like a toddler. Like
yeah,
been nonstop, like wherever, doesn't matter like what house I'm in, something has happened every
yeah,
time I move. And a part of me was like, oh, I move here, and nothing's really gonna follow me or like do anything, right? Fuck no, I was wrong.
No,
Yeah.
I'm for sure in the same boat because I feel like every house I've lived in from as far back as I can remember has had some experiences happen.
Yeah. But definitely I am so excited to talk about all that in October.
Yeah, I've had more experiences ever since you moved here. I think you do have something following you.
Yeah, Kimberly's a magnet.
I called her like she's a lighthouse for spirits. I feel like.
That's a really interesting take. Like I don't think I've heard anyone say, "Oh, they're a lighthouse for spirits."
Yeah.
That's
Because like
interesting.
a lot of people can feel stuff, which you do feel stuff, Kimberly.
I feel stuff and see stuff.
And not a lot of people can do that. Well, if you've been dead for a long time and nobody's really seen you or felt you, you see one person who does, you're gonna flock to them.
Well, I see stuff, hear stuff, and feel stuff.
Oh, I've heard, seen, and I've only seen one thing, but I won't talk about that here. That'll be for October.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying not to spill the beans too much, just because I want you guys to have a lot of cool stories to tell.
I honestly don't want to read the ghost stories that get sent in before we film. I want to read them live.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Read them as we record, because I want to get a genuine reaction.
Wait, what? What?
So I will save the emails of ghost stories we get, but I'm not going to read them because I want to have genuine reactions from everyone
cool. I mean,
involved.
I didn't read the one that we got sent in. I didn't even read the other one that I got sent in on Tumblr.
Oh, I read the one we got sent in by email, and now I'm kicking myself. I'm like, shit!
Oh, I
shouldn't have. But it's okay.
Yeah,
because we're sidetracked again. It's okay, though. It's fine.
It's okay.
Fun. It's all related, though. It all back up.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But also, going back to Paranormal Activity, the marketing for this movie, I think wasn't Paranormal Activity the first one to start this trend of having the audience reaction to the movie be the initial trailer?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That.
Right? Because I remember after Paranormal Activity, other movies in the horror genre, not just found footage, started doing that, where they would just have the audience reaction as the viewpoint and the main point to make you go see the movie.
I actually really like that tactic a lot, because you're just because they don't show you what they're reacting to.
No.
You're just what are they seeing?
For a while, I think it was a good tactic, but it does kind of get old after a few times.
Yeah, because it is people just jumping and screaming and being like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
what the fuck? But again, it was a smart tactic.
Yeah,
it was really smart because nobody had done that before.
Yeah,
that's something. Knowledge.
Yeah, that's something that I think definitely is really cool with this genre, just because it's such a unique genre that the marketing is also unique. Going even to make this kind of circular, look at Cannibal Holocaust, look at Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity. They all had such unique marketing gimmicks, such unique ways to try and get the public involved with their film. And like I'm saying, I think that's only something that a found footage film can do, because you can't do that with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or a slasher film, where you have this sense of interaction. It's interactive. It's something where your audience is interacting with the film in one way or another, either through what they see from the previews, where they see someone reacting and they're like, oh crap, what are they reacting to? I want to see what they're reacting to now. Or in Cannibal Holocaust, where you're like, oh man, did those actors really die? What's going on with it? Where you I'm saying, you have that channel for interaction, where even though it's kind of one-sided, where you have the audience trying to interact with the film, piece stuff together. Again, to go back even to Cloverfield, that had a bunch of huge marketing gimmicks, it creates that channel for interaction, that channel where you have people that are very interested in your film, and they're trying to pull information out of the film, pull stuff, because they're just that into the film. And like I'm saying, that's not something that, granted, you can do that with slashers, you can do that with zombie films, where you pull stuff out of the film to learn more about the film, but that added angle of faux realism that every found footage film has, where again, this is going to be kind of circular, where you're going back to that ability to interact, to be essentially an ARG, be something where you're feeling how the film plays out, you're feeling what your perceptions are, and it's all kind of intertwining and coalescing and becoming this unique experience for essentially each member of the audience.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, and this is kind of going on a little bit, like for the millionth time, we're getting off a little bit, but it's fine. I don't remember how or what decade it was, but there was a time where, like, speaking of like interactions with the audience with the movie, there was a time where you could go to certain, and I don't know if there's still a thing, where you could go to certain movie theaters and like they'll actually have stuff happen in the seats and in the audience to make it more immersive. Like they'll like have air blow or like the seats vibrate with
Yeah,
whatever.
they still do that. It's 4D.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's so funny that you mention that, because that's one of it's not an actual meant to be horror kind of moment, but one of the moments of sheer terror in my life is when I went to Bug's Life, the ride at Disney.
Yeah.
And mind you, I'm like 6 or 7, and I don't know what the hell's going on.
Like
You have the grasshopper going up there and basically saying that you're the enemy, and I'm there just immersed in this because obviously I'm sitting in a dark theater where all this is going on, and then that portion of it where you get stung by a hornet, where you actually feel a poke in your back.
Yeah.
Is this why you don't like bugs, Kimberly?
No.
Oh.
No, it was just such a crazy immersive experience.
But like I went in there with one of my exes, and it was not a great experience. I did not like it. I was already like, I already didn't like bugs in the first place, but she really wanted to go in there, and I was, I guess, and it was like the worst experience ever. I wanted to like fucking curl up in a ball and cry because I was not having it.
Well, now I want to do it though. God damn it!
You can go in alone. I'll fuck with you.
Okay.
Well, I don't even know if the ride's still active anymore. I thought they switched it for another 4D experience.
I honestly don't think so.
That's lame.
Like a lot of the 4D experiences in theme parks, they're like vanishing. Like fucking the Shrek one is not a Universal anymore.
That's lame. Can we bring those back? Those are cool.
They were cool. They were fun.
God damn it. Can we, like, this is a weird thing. Can we go see the Polar Express with a 4D experience?
They don't even offer that.
Yeah, but could we? Theoretically,
if they offered it, sure, I guess. But like,
complimentary hot chocolate though.
Shit.
That's so funny. I just looked up what took over Bugs Land, which included that Bugs Life 4D or 3D, whatever experience it was called. But Marvel took it over. That became the Avengers Campus.
Oh my god!
I hate everything.
Wait,
That's
what
hilarious.
is it now? Do you know what it is now, though? But like, is it just the general Avengers Campus right there?
Yeah, they tore down all the old Bugs Life land that was right there because it wasn't just that theater experience. There was a couple other things.
Yeah,
they took all of that down, and that's all Avengers Campus now. And that was it was open as of 2021 June, according to this, June 4th. But
I'm suing Marvel Studios.
You can't stop me. That's lame, but okay.
Ugh, boo.
Yeah, in 2018 is when they announced they would get rid of the Bugs Land section. I think it closed shortly after that.
Damn.
This might be a controversial opinion. I'm so tired of fucking superhero movies, dude. Oh my god, I'm so tired of them. Ugh, they come out every fucking year. Jesus, I'm so tired of them.
I'm not tired of them because I find entertainment in them.
That's fair. They all look the same to me. I'm like, please.
So I can for sure see the burnout where you're like, another superhero movie. But I really like, especially what they're going, like, I read some of the comic books. I'm not saying that I'm a huge, my nose is always in the comic book kind of thing. Like, I just kind of have a general idea of a bunch of different comic book arcs and stuff. And honestly, the way that they're taking the MCU, is really cool, just because it's such a fun arc. Mm-hmm. And like, I mean, for me, I'm really excited for a lot of the foot on the ground stuff too. Like the fact that they're bringing Daredevil back.
I'm so excited for Daredevil. You have no fucking idea.
As soon as they announced it, I was like, "There's no way I can cancel Disney Plus now."
Yes. Oh my god, I'm rewatching like the whole entire series.
Damn it, Disney, you're gonna be dry.
It's like $5.99 a month. I'm fine with it. Oh no, it's like $7.99 a month.
That's nothing to you.
It's
Like,
nothing to me.
That's like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to buy candy, bro. I've got like $15 in my account.
So yeah, let's get back to the found footage genre.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh shit. Anyway.
I mean, honestly, this was like the last thing that I had, which was just like my closing thing for this whole entire like history portion of it.
Hell yeah.
But I just wrote like the found footage genre is ever growing with as new technology is made. Like it will always be something new. There will always be something new to bring to the genre. And found footage can either be something that completely terrifies you or entertains you, or maybe even both. It doesn't matter how huge or small of a budget the film has, because in the end, people are going to talk about it, people are going to get involved with it, and people are going to find some spark of inspiration.
Yeah, it's genuinely, and I keep bringing these guys up every week, but I have to because firstly, they're just great. You know Hunt a Killer, right? And we're not sponsored by Hunt a Killer, by the way.
Oh no, we're not sponsored by anything.
But Hunt a Killer is basically like you get a box of goodies, and it's basically you're trying to solve a murder. Well, they have a Blair Witch one.
Mm-hmm.
Will from Guide to the Unknown is one of the writers for the Blair Witch Project Hunt a Killer, which I think was so cool. And again, they hold Hunt a Killer, or not Hunt a Killer, they hold the Blair Witch Project, Will and Kristen, Guide to the Unknown. Shout out to you guys. We're talking about you again. I'm sorry. I'm talking about you again. I have to. I love you guys. You're freaking awesome. But they hold like just the Blair Witch Project and Scream, just in general, close to their hearts. I can't remember why for Scream. I tried to avoid Scream stuff because I know you don't want me to get spoiled for Scream.
Yeah, pretty much, because I'm gonna make we're gonna have like a Scream month or two.
Yeah, or two.
Yeah. There are 5 films in this series.
2 months.
2 months.
But yeah, I just thought I'd point that out because I mean, Will is clearly just a talented writer, and they just go watch Guide to the Unknown. They're fucking cool. Keep shouting them out, but I love them. I can't help it. I love them dearly. They're like siblings that I've never met. To me, they're like siblings I've never gotten a chance to meet. They're cool.
Yeah,
they're nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I didn't know about that box, so that's really cool that you know. Even now, it's almost been. Came out in 99, if my math's right. It's been 23 years since that movie came out.
Yeah.
And it's still in the mainstream. It's still getting...
Yeah. How was the Blair Witch video game? I don't remember how that did.
Honestly, I didn't play it.
You didn't play it? I don't remember if it did or not. I know the demo was really freaky, but I don't remember how well it did. Even the demo, though, I was like, this doesn't feel like Blair Witch. It feels like another horror game, but I could be wrong. Let me look it up.
No, I love the horror genre as for film. Horror games, I'm too much of a wuss. Like I have Outlast, and I have yet to finish it just because
I didn't last an hour.
I get terrified, and I'm like, nope, no, thank you. I kind of don't want to do this.
The Blair Witch game has a 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's about average. That's
you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So I completely forgot that there was a game.
It's been out for almost 30 years. Or 30 years. I read August 30th. I read 30 years. It's been out for almost 3 years already. Damn.
Huh.
Jesus. Time flies.
I hate wow.
I hate that so much. It's fucking gross.
Yeah, the endless march of time.
Don't remind me.
Yeah.
Please. I don't like it.
So, I have a list of some found footage films.
Beautiful. Fire it off.
Okay. So, the first one I have is Antrim, the deadliest film ever made.
Oh,
I actually heard something about that the other day. I don't remember what the fuck it was, though.
That's funny that you mentioned that film, because I actually watched it with your cousin.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, me and Adam watched it, I think with his dad, too, and it was Such a weird film.
Oh my god. We watched it on Halloween.
Yeah, I think I was there.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, you were there. Yeah, we watched it
Yeah.
on Halloween. Nobody liked it, but I did.
Oh no!
I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't like it. It was just weird.
It was weird. But, like, I liked it.
It didn't help that I kind of popped in and out of the film. I wasn't sitting down and dedicated like my direct attention to it. I think at that point in the night on Halloween, I was probably 2 or 3 drinks in.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I think so.
That's your
So I was,
fault.
I was
That's your fault.
my social butterfly self and walking around talking with everyone.
Oh man, I'll watch it with you, Kimberly. Weird horror is like very hit or miss for everybody. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've always said the worst thing a movie can be is boring. If it's boring, then there's just no enjoyment. But if a movie is bad but fun, then who cares? If you're having a good time, that's all that matters.
Shout out to
all that matters.
shout out to the Eternals, because that's the one Marvel film I actually fell asleep during.
Oh my god. That's sad. But also, I don't even want to watch it.
It looks god awful.
It looks boring.
Yeah, the Eternals was rough. So shout out to them for hitting the mark of a bad movie by being boring.
I hate the movies where they advertise everything that's basically gonna happen in the fucking ads. And then the rest of the movie's boring.
Yeah.
And those ads are like, as long as the ads are,
yeah,
that's how much action you're gonna get in the fucking movie. Like if the ad is 3 minutes, that's how much action is gonna be in the movie. 3 minutes worth of action. That's it.
Lame.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, like, I blame that stuff on the amount of content we're getting and the amount of media being shoved down our throats. Shout out to TikTok for shortening our attention span to 2 minutes. So these studios have to grab our attention, otherwise we're like, nah, I kind of don't want to watch that film.
I'm lucky if I get the attention span of 30 seconds, honestly.
Amazing.
Let alone 10 minutes, thanks TikTok.
So Antrim. So Antrim, basically this mockumentary. It's a mockumentary, but it presents itself as a documentary.
That's fun.
Tells the story of Antrim, a movie released in the late 70s and supposedly has effects on those who watch it. The bulk of the movie is allegedly is the only known print of the film, which has itself been altered by an unknown third party.
The fuck? That sounds really creepy to me for some reason. I don't know why.
So initially, this movie I had never heard of, but I only found out about it because of Nicole Tompkins.
Yeah, the queen. I love her.
She was talking about her career and what things she has been in. She mentioned that she was in Antrim. She is the main character.
If you guys don't know, Nicole is one of the daughters from Resident 8. I can't remember which one. Was it, was she Bella? Right?
She is Daniela.
God damn it! I had one guess and I got it wrong.
She is Daniela, but she is also the voice of Jill Valentine for Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Yeah!
Look at her go.
Yeah.
Look at her go!
She's 24, man.
She's 23.
Jesus, 24. What am I doing with my life?
Right?
I'm 22, what am I doing?
Yeah, I turned 27 this year, so I'm just sitting here like, well, I'm 3 years overdue.
God, that's a mood.
Hey man, it's never too late to make it. The only time it's too late is when you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people make it in their 60s, dude.
Yeah.
It's okay. You got time. It's fine.
But I honestly thought Antrim was really good, and I understand why I like it. And there's also like those clips that are brought in where it seems like it's so out of place that it shouldn't be in there. Like I only understood it because they said like it was altered by a third party, so like obviously to happen. But throughout the movie, there's also like symbols pop up,
Mhm.
and there's flashes, moving, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like subliminal messaging kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I won't say that I didn't like the film. I just thought it was kind of wonky.
Eh.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
I can take it or leave it. Like, basically,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
That's
It
pretty
was
much
better than watching. I don't know what Adam's dad tried throwing on, but Antrim was pretty fun. It was more fun than what our other choices were.
I think the next one we were gonna watch Hush, but then we all got
Yeah, and then I think that same night, they threw on Poltergeist.
Oh
So that was
yeah.
fun.
So the next one I want to talk about is As Above, So Below.
Ooh, that's a
I
good one.
really want to see this. Fascinated by the Paris catacombs. They're so cool and creepy.
Dude, As Above, So Below is such a good movie.
We talked about these guys last week for the October episode. I think Sam and Colby might have gone down there.
Gross.
I know Exploring with Josh did, but I think Sam and Colby also went. I could be though. I'd have to look it up. Crazy some bitches. They're crazy.
Yeah, I think too. Like, I don't know how far back you guys go with Sci-Fi Channel, but freaking Josh Gates goes into the Paris catacombs too. I
Yeah.
think.
I love Josh Gates. He's so fun.
So As Above, So Below is a 2014 American. It is presented as a found footage of a documentary cruise experience exploring the catacombs of Paris, and was actually based on the 7 layers of hell. So as they keep going into, the catacombs, each of the people who are like hallucinations or something like that. I don't think they're hallucinations. I think they're just it's like their reality. They're experiencing like their own sins as they keep going.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah. So each character initially like does die because of what their sin was, and it's being revealed to everyone. And then
so you're telling me to not get attached. Got it.
Yeah, it's the horror genre. You can't get attached to anyone.
No, you can't.
Right. Damn.
No,
That's cool though. I need to go back and watch people explore the Paris catacombs because they're genuinely creepy.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there's that one video that we're all familiar with, I'd imagine, of that one guy who's touring down there, and he gets spooked by something, and he's filming, and he drops the camera, and they found it, which it's IRL found footage because it's not fake. It's this dude got spooked by something. He dropped it, ran, and you can see him running because the way it fell, you can see him run off, and he was never seen again. I still wonder about that guy. If he's alive, I for some reason seriously doubt it because the Paris catacombs are a fucking maze. If he's alive somehow, I hope he's okay. But I'd imagine he's probably not.
but imagine it's some long con for a found footage film that's coming out.
Oh my god, that'd be a fucking flex, dude. That'd be a flex. Holy shit, that video is really old by now. I can't remember how old it is.
It's called a long con for a reason.
Jesus. That'd be a fucking twist. Can you imagine if somebody actually did that shit? Just like make a video like that and it's fake. It's for a fucking movie. That shit would be insane. I hope somebody does that one day because I think that'd be a really cool tactic to do. And not tell them that it's a movie until the year it's actually coming out. Just like, yeah, this video went viral. This is nobody knows what happened to this guy, and now there's suddenly a movie about it. Oh, it was an ad. Holy shit!
That's still my theory on those. I don't know if you guys seen them, but the random pillars that popped up in the desert.
Oh,
it was like an art installation.
Yeah, what the hell were they called? Oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about. They're like they're not mirrors, but they're like chrome looking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think someone did come forward to explain. Yeah, they're like chrome obelisks. But I think someone did come forward, but I can't say with 100% certainty.
I'm gonna look it up now. Hold on, because I remember that it was freaking people out. They were like, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Why?"
Yeah, that'd be hilarious if that somehow turned into marketing for a found footage film.
It's like that's like opportunity for it to be like a UFO movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like, speaking of marketing, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Nope, but the marketing team for that film is smart to include the waving arm
Monoliths.
tube guys, because they play such an important part in the film, but it's also like, from the outside looking in, you're like, what the hell? Why are they showing these guys off?
Yeah.
Oh damn, these things were a lot bigger than I thought they were. They were like 10 to 12 feet tall.
Yeah, they were gigantic.
Also, I got it wrong. They're monoliths. Excuse me, obelisk. You
You're right,
know
because
what I
I
meant
think
anyway. Like,
obelisk goes to a point, I think.
yeah,
Monolith
that's
is
what
just,
I thought. That's what I
yeah.
thought.
Either way, close enough.
Yeah, I remembered them going to a point for some reason, but they don't. I'm looking at the pictures of it right now, and I'm like, oh, I'm a doofus. Kinda. Yeah, one showed up in fucking Romania. Where else did it show up? Romania, California, which is, oh my god, there was one in DC, Isle of Wight in the Netherlands. What the hell? Whoever did this is like all over the fucking place.
I'm probably because I don't want to edit.
Okay, that's valid. I mean, it all links up to one another anyway, in one way or another. And I mean, to be fair, found footage can be this complex anyway.
Oh yeah, it
So-
absolutely can.
Definitely.
But yeah, moving on. Just had to look that up because it's yeah, I knew it showed up. They showed up everywhere. I didn't realize literally everywhere. I thought it was just across the states for some reason. Why? Because it's just such a weird American thing to do. Just let's freak people out for no reason.
Weird as hell.
Oh, shit. Anyway, moving on. Next movie. How do we get to the Paris catacombs? Weird ass monoliths showing up all over the place. Whatever, it's fine.
Phenomenon. So the next movie I have on my list is Creep. And
Yeah.
it's also a 2004 film. So Creep is a found footage psychological horror. And the movie itself was inspired by the director's experiences on Craigslist and the movies My Dinner with Aunt, Misery, and Fatal Attraction.
Damn. The Craigslist thing is really throwing me. I'm sure it makes sense in context, but like
It makes so much sense in context.
it's really throwing me.
But I've seen Creep before, and I've seen its sequel.
Was the sequel good?
Both are very good,
Oh,
I think.
that's rare. That's really rare.
Personally, I think they're both good. But also, I think Creep does live in his name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't say much more because I want you to watch it.
Okay. We'll do an episode about Creep one day. If we do a found footage month, we can do that.
I feel like I've seen this next one. The Den. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
I've heard of it.
No, I haven't seen
No.
it.
The Den is about a young woman who discovers a murder via a webcam.
Oh no. That's not fun.
So this is another film that is just shot as a computer.
Oh.
So the film actually like explores themes of social media, computer hacking, voyeurism.
Oh. One of these things is not like the other. Surprisingly, it's the voyeurism.
Yes. And this is also another movie that I saw with my sister Chelsea, which is The Gallows.
Yeah, you loved this movie, didn't you?
I did. I thought it was really good. It was entertaining. Like, very entertaining. Because initially we just put it on because we needed to clear the room, and we ended up just sitting on the couch watching it.
That's a mood. That's a big old mood. That's why I cannot have a movie going cleaning because I will get so distracted. I can do a podcast, but I cannot do a movie.
Let me see. Okay, so this movie takes place on October 29th, 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Beatrice High School Charlie is accidentally hanged and killed after a prop malfunction during a presentation of the Day of Gallows.
Oh,
And his parents, along with the audience, witnessed the tragic event.
damn.
So now it's like It is.
Holy shit.
This movie also takes place 20 years later, and the now attempts to put on a new performance of the gallows, but things start going wrong.
Oh no, is this like Macbeth?
Yeah, in a way.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
Scottish play. We're not in a theater, we're fine. Macbeth. It's like Macbeth.
Yeah. It gets compared to because of the whole entire like play within a play thing, and
that's cool. Kinda wanna see that.
It's really good. It has good like paranormal scenes.
Yeah.
I think the plot's really solid.
I'm gonna, just because we just talked about Macbeth, this is like a little fun little story. I was in my senior year of high school, and I've told you this before, Kimberly, but I'm gonna share it here. But the pod, we were actually in the middle of reading Macbeth for, school, in English class. I've gotten nosebleeds plenty of times before when the weather gets dry and like it lasts for like maybe a minute or two. I got a nosebleed in the middle of Macbeth. The weather was not dry. I think it had like just rained the day before. And I got a nosebleed in the middle of Macbeth. And this was a nosebleed that lasted for like just a minute or two. It lasted for a good 5-10 minutes, and I actually had to leave and go to the bathroom just so I didn't get blood all over my poor teacher's desk. Like, but she wasn't a friend. I don't consider her a friend, but she saw me like holding not my nose, but like holding the sleeve of my hoodie up to my nose to keep it from like the blood was dripping down my neck, and it was through so much. And she was like, "Oh my god, Lexi, let me get the teacher for you." Like, she asked me, do you want to get the teacher? And I was like, "Yes, please." And she got my teacher's attention. She just pointed at me, and my English teacher, she was like, "Oh my gosh, please go to the bathroom and come back when you're ready." And I was like, "Thank you." It was just like, I thought it was so fucking weird that this happened in the middle of us reading Macbeth, because, I was a theater kid, and we all heard about Scottish play and how you're not supposed to talk about it in a theater. And I don't know, it freaked me out though. I was like, what the fuck? Why do they bleed so much? But yeah, that's my fun little story as to how I got a nosebleed in the middle of Macbeth. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. This episode's got a lot of ramblings. I'm sorry.
Okay, so this next one I have is Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, and it is a 2018 South Korean found footage horror film. The narrative centers around a horror web series crew that travels to an abandoned asylum for a live broadcast in order to garner views and publicity. This movie is based off of a real haunted asylum with the same exact name.
Ooh, let's fucking go, bitch. Let's fucking go.
That's some next level marketing.
I like.
Yeah.
Come experience the real thing.
So it's based off of a real asylum, but the thing is, they did not film it in the actual location out of respect.
Oh, me? Okay, you know what? That's valid. That's valid.
It's out of respect that they didn't film it in the actual location.
I was about to roast them, but you know what? I can respect that. You don't want to disturb the spirits there. They're probably already disturbed enough.
It's so like amazing with like Asian horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fascinating to see how different cultures treat each genre of horror, and including like found footage. There is definitely like a huge jump with whatever like culture you're going into, and how each have different like takes, how each scare is actually really different, and how they operate their movies, whereas how we operate our movies. And I feel I think Gonjiam is also like kind of, but for the most part it's a little bit nonstop, because the crew that's going in there initially was going to like fake some of the scares to scare two girls that go with them.
Oh boy.
In the asylum.
They were. What actually happened?
they actually summoned spirits, and they were pretty much targeted by everything that was happening.
Great.
So that's why you don't mess with spirits.
No.
That's why you don't mess with people's like resting places. And
Stop
stuff
fucking
like
with the dead, man. Quit. Stop it. Stop fucking with Ouija boards and shit.
Yeah, that's an important lesson to learn.
Yeah.
God. I would never fuck with a Ouija board.
No.
No, Ouija
white,
boards scare the hell out of me.
I am white. I am not that white. God, I fucking can't with Ouija. Even just seeing them in Barnes and Noble, like, ugh, no, they're not toys. Stop.
Okay, so the next movie I have is Host.
Ooh, interesting.
Nice.
And Host is another one of those like Unfriended, kind of like Unfriended. But this takes place in like a, what was it again? What was the thing that they used? I think it was Zoom, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. I remember I saw it on Shudder. We're not sponsored by Shudder, but I saw it on
Not
Shudder.
sponsored, but they could. Please.
They could if they want to, please.
We both
service so much.
We both do. We both use it a lot.
From what I saw from Host, it was very good. Like I thought it was like really good at giving you those like, momentum scares. Especially towards the end, because you can see that like a jump scare is gonna happen, but it still gets you nonetheless.
Yes.
And the suspense throughout the whole entire thing is like really entertaining, especially because like there's this one girl in the group who uses, there's always like that one person in the group that always uses like filters and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's put to use because the spirit basically starts using the filters. And I know that sounds silly, but the thing is, it's not. It's creepy because she's like, why is there another face there? Like, I'm the only one here.
I'm only giggling because I've seen the same shit happen to people so much.
Yeah.
And it is silly, but I know in the context of the movie it's probably really creepy, but I'm just like, and the picture I'm imagining is the fucking filter with the big ass eyes and the little flowers and butterflies on around the person's head.
Oh my god!
And that's all I'm imagining.
No, a better filter would be
Slenderman's face with that fucking filter for some reason.
No, a better filter would be the fucking dog nose with the tongue that hangs out. That one would be hilarious.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah. So I'm giggling because it's silly, but I know it in the context of the movies.
Yeah. Well, what's really cool is this Host is one of the films that actually mentioned the idea of a tulpa, which is just a being that only has power when people believe in it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because that's something that's kind of new, in all honesty. Like, you don't really see too many mentions of a tulpa, or at least the word, for up until recent history.
And I wager it's probably just been around for a while.
Yeah, you just don't really. There's no. I'm trying to figure out the correct wording for this. There probably just wasn't a word for it. Or it was another kind of idea. Like, you can loosely say that something like a skinwalker could be considered a tulpa, or like, stuff like that, where it doesn't have any power until you believe in it.
Yeah, I think of like poltergeists are kind of similar because you can manifest poltergeists with your energy. Usually not on purpose.
Yeah.
Why would you purposely want a poltergeist? I don't know, but sometimes that shit happens.
Sometimes maybe you just want shit to fly around.
Maybe you just want a buddy. You just want a buddy to throw some pizza at you. Send me a slice.
Okay, so the next movie I have is Lake.
Oh, I have heard of this one.
So Lake Mungo is a mockumentary style storytelling with found footage and docufiction elements, using each interview to present the narratives of the family trying to come to terms with the drowning death of their daughter and the potentially supernatural events that they experience after it. Cool. So, honestly, it gave me chills because of how realistic it is with those documentary styles where, you know, like those true crime ones where they're interviewing the family and stuff like that.
We still need to watch.
It feels so realistic with that. Like, you kind of for a moment forget that you're watching a movie, and you really do think you're watching like an actual family coming to terms with their with losing like their daughter.
Dude, you just reminded me that we need to still watch Dear Zachary.
It's on my list.
I know it is. It's gonna break my heart when we do.
But they start like experiencing like supernatural happenings in their house, and not only in their house, but there's footage. I think it's the son that starts like filming because he's doing like the documentary thing. And in each of the videos or pictures that he has taken, there is either appearances of like his sister in the corner of the picture, or you can see her like walking through the videos.
Gross.
And everyone's just trying to come to terms with this, like, why is this happening? And there's this like psychic that comes in, and it's revealed that he actually talked to the daughter before he had met the family, because the daughter came to him because she started feeling like something bad was going to happen. And once it is revealed that he knew the daughter before, unsurprisingly, the family. But in the end, they still ask for his help. And what happens is these are all spoilers. The person, the psychic, I guess, the psychic goes over with the mom to see what she feels, because the mom is more like dreams or something like that, where she feels like she can see her daughter, but her daughter can't see her, you know? Or it just feels like her daughter's presence is there. So what we find out is that what the daughter was talking to the psychic in the beginning is mirroring what the mom is saying at the end.
Oh.
So when the mom is standing at the bedroom doorway and she's like, I'm looking in here, but I can't see her, but I feel her. And the daughter is like, I'm in my room and my mom is standing by the, but she.
That's fucking sad.
And all that is like from, and also towards the end, you find out it's debunked that the brother had faked all the pictures and the videos of his sister, and it's proven that he shows proof, like, yeah, I edited this, I made it to look like she was in these things, but then it turns out at the end she was actually really there. She was just farther at the and then it turns out to be true that she was actually really there.
She has a doppelganger.
Besides her brother, like,
it feels like a dick move on the brother's part for some reason.
Oh no, like, definitely. I thought it was, but the thing is, like, with this movie, it felt so real. Like, it felt like you were actually watching a family like losing their child.
That's so sad. God, hearing about kids getting hurt makes me sad, dude.
Next one, great.
A Woman in Black isn't going to be great either.
So the next one I have on my list is Megan is Missing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I've heard of this one. I don't know much about it, but I have heard of it. Don't know this.
So Megan is Missing, basically a film about a adolescent girl who gets kidnapped.
Fun!
And her friend is trying to find her and trying to solve this whole entire thing, because initially they had met someone online, and I think Josh or something, or I don't know.
Probably some jackass named Josh or Billy.
But they meet an older guy online, and Megan is like super into him and everything. And she goes to meet him, then ends up being kidnapped.
No.
And
this is too realistic.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Oh, this is so sad.
It's supposed to be. It's so this whole entire thing is basically So everything is being told through Amy's perspective. And she's basically filming everything. And Megan is Missing is very controversial.
Oh, is it?
Even the director warns people to not watch it at midnight or after midnight, and don't watch it alone.
So you're saying I'm gonna go risk it for the biscuit here in a second?
Risk it for yourself. I
don't
know,
get
man.
scared easily. Depends. I know the look you just gave me was like, are you sure?
I am spoiling this movie. I'm spoiling these movies. Again, so if you don't want to fucking like hear spoilers about these movies, don't skip over it. Skip over this whole entire thing. But what ends up happening is Amy also gets kidnapped. And the person ends up leaving her in a cell, treating her like a dog.
Oh God.
She's chained up. She's only in her bra and underwear.
Oh,
she's
God.
completely filthy.
For context, how old is she?
She's around like 13, I think.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Jeez. I know it's just a movie, but shit like this happens in real life, and it makes me really sad. Just learning about that kind of thing makes me feel really helpless.
No, she's 14.
Close enough.
Yeah, they're 14-year-olds. So here's the thing. It gets even worse.
Oh, Jesus.
It gets even worse because there is a warning in this movie.
Uh-oh.
And it's towards the end.
Uh-oh.
So the thing is, Amy is still begging for her life. Mm-hmm. She also just wants to see Megan.
Yes.
And the person who kidnapped her is promising like she'll see her soon, you know?
God.
And what ends up happening is he tells her to get into a barrel, and when she opens it, she finds Megan's body.
No.
And it's gross. It's disgusting.
Oh, man.
Because she's been dead for a while.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's depressing as shit, dude.
That's this is also going to be more depressing because
God damn it.
She ends up going in there with her best friend, and the dude basically dumps the barrel in like this huge fucking hole that he dug, and he starts burying her alive.
Oh.
With her being next to her best friend. And she's just like screaming for help. No one can hear. And that's like the camera is basically like all over, and you're just seeing like dirt and leaves just cover the barrel until you don't hear her anymore.
No, is that how it ends?
Yes, that's how it ends.
That is so fucking sad.
And then there is a warning because it gives you like I think fucking 3 or 5 seconds to either click away or get away to exit this movie, because there are pictures of Megan being tied down, having like needles or some shit, like opening her mouth and like and her eyes, but also during Amy's kidnapping there is a rape scene.
God. You know what?
Yikes.
I'm not gonna risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah, that's why I was like, no, you're not. I did.
Oh, God.
I did, but it was before I knew that ending was gonna happen, and I was like,
I have to say, I have to commend them for giving a warning.
So they don't give a warning for the essay, but they give a warning for like the other stuff, for Megan's pictures and stuff like that.
I'll take the needles over essay any day.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's depressing as shit, dude.
I have a lighter one.
Thank God. Please, hit me with it.
So I have a lighter one, and it is called One Cut of the Dead, and it is a Japanese found footage horror film.
Mm-hmm.
And it is based off of, like zombie apocalypse. So what happens in the movie is a amateur film. They are filming a zombie apocalypse movie that just so happens to be taking place in a zombie apocalypse, but they don't know it. Because it's before it happens, but it's while they're filming. And at first they think it's someone else in makeup, because like it might be a small crew, but they do think like it's probably someone else.
That's a fun concept. I like it.
But it ends up actually happening.
Oh, F.
Yeah. And it's more it leans more on like the comedies.
I figured as much.
Yeah, it leans more on the comedies.
I think I know what about as well. I think I've seen clips of this movie.
It's also on Shudder if you want to watch that.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's on my list. I tried watching it once, but I couldn't because my family kept telling me to do something, and I was like, I just want to watch a movie.
Let me live, please.
There's this movie, which was recommended to us by Ashley.
Ooh.
And she recommended Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh! So this is like actually a thing that happens IRL, and I'm fascinated by it. I know the movie isn't, but like, it's an actual place.
Yeah, I know it's an actual place. So Skinwalker Ranch is a sci-fi horror found footage, and it's basically a phenomenon that people are trying to figure out.
Yeah,
they don't know what's causing it, and it caused a disappearance of a boy. So they're trying to figure out why does he keep reappearing and disappearing at a like certain time at night.
Question, is this actually based off of something that happened in real life?
I don't know. Because that's what I don't know.
I feel like this actually happened. This sounds familiar. I know a family owned the ranch. I'm not going to say the first word to it because I don't sit well with it. But I feel like that I know there was a family that owned the ranch, and it's a different guy owns it now, but I think that they actually had like some of their cattle not missing, but was mysteriously slaughtered for no reason, and I could be misremembering, but I think there was somebody who had gone missing from there. I don't remember. I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like that sounds familiar. If not, then I've probably heard of the movie. Anybody in the or like even if it's just like cryptids and stuff like that has probably heard of this particular ranch in general, let alone the movie.
How do you guys feel about the VHS?
Oh, that's another one I was going to talk about.
All of these films that we've talked about today, I've not seen a single one of them.
For the movie, it says it's loosely based upon folklore surrounding actual like ranch that's in Utah.
Yeah. I think there's a guy. The guy that owns it actually has a TikTok, and he films stuff that happens around the ranch a lot. If not, he's got at least a YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's also I don't know if it's 100% factual documentary, but I know that there's a pseudo documentary on it too. That I believe it's on Netflix now.
Really?
Called Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, where it's people that try and investigate Skinwalker Ranch and just kind of see what's going on. They collect evidence and stuff. I don't know how debunked or how looked into the evidence is, but it's honestly a fun watch.
Mysteries of... Is that what... I'm not going to say the word. Wait, let me just...
It should be called Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a series. I believe there's 2 seasons of it.
The Secret of... I'm not gonna... Oh, there's only 8 episodes.
Oh, amazing.
I think the second season was in production, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, there's only 1 season. That's cool. A Utah ranch has been a hotspot of strange unexplained phenomena. A new owner brings in investigators to unlock the properties. That's really cool. Yeah, I've seen that particular dirt because I'm looking at the preview, and there was a dirt road I've seen because he's ridden his down there, and the horse got spooked. And there's like something off in the field screaming. It sounds like a person, but it's private property. It couldn't be a person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. We're gonna have to check that out. Ooh, these episodes are 42 minutes long each. That's cool. Nice. Yeah, we'll check that out for sure. That sounds fun. But yeah, movie.
So the next movie I have is Spree.
This one I do know of.
Yeah.
Okay, let's fucking go.
Spree also goes hand in hand with the with Rec, with how it is supposed to be live broadcast. Because Joe Keery's character Kurt, he is trying to gain followers, trying to just gain a huge like social following. By doing like a ride share, and he starts like filming him doing his work. Nothing's really happening with it. No one's really engaging besides like one of his friends.
Level.
I am that one friend.
Yes, you are, and I appreciate you.
But what ends up happening, he's like, well, I have a knack for killing.
Jesus.
So he starts doing that to gain views.
And it works.
It does work. He starts gaining like a huge ass following. And it ends up, he ends up pretty much like kicking the bucket at the end.
F.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Joe Keery die. That's sad.
And it's not like he doesn't do it to himself. Someone does it.
Yeah, I didn't.
But this movie is not like serious at all. It leans heavily on the comedy.
No, I didn't think this movie was serious.
Yeah, it leans heavily on the comedy. I know Mason wanted me to watch it with him, but I had already seen it previously, so I was like, no. So I felt bad.
Yeah. Did he watch it anyway?
Yeah, he watched it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. He only wanted to watch it with me because he saw that Joe Keery was in it.
That's fair. Steve from Stranger Things, you guys don't know somehow.
But like Spree has gained a fucking following because
yeah. God, people on TikTok love this fucking movie, dude.
Yeah. Like it's gained it sparked like interest again after like Stranger Things 4.
Yeah. Because Joe Keery's just a talented dude.
Yeah. I remember initially when the film came out, like nobody liked it.
Really?
Like they thought his acting was really off. It was really weird. The movie was like not great.
It's because they're used to him in Stranger Things, probably.
And now people are fucking loving this movie. They're eating it up and everything.
Talk about a cult classic.
And it's really funny because the account for like Kurt's World is actually like posting again on Instagram.
That's funny. That's funny. Holy shit, that's funny.
Like I love that.
Aw. I'm glad it's got a little cult following now.
I love when that happens. Also, like Joe Keery promoted the shit out of this movie.
Yes.
With so many like videos of him being character Kurt. And I think it's so funny because there's this video of him like in a store and he finds like a Steve Harrington shirt and he's like, oh, what a cool shirt. He's not my favorite character though, but it's a cool shirt.
What a jackass. I'm kidding.
I love that.
I love Joe Keery. He's a blessing on this planet. What a fucking asshole. Asshole in a loving way. I don't actually think he's an asshole. He's probably really sweet in real life.
No, like honestly, to reiterate this, like the found footage genre with their marketing is always so interactive and spot on with it. It's really fun no matter what movie it is, honestly.
Shit's so fun, dude. I think that's such a smart, I love it when actors get really into their roles like that. I like it when they have fun with it and they really just go to town with promoting it, and especially the way that Joe appears to have done. I think that's really fun. It definitely, it also brings in the audience more. It gets them, maybe immersed is not the right word, but it gets them involved more.
I think immersed is the right word.
Yeah, immersed and involved. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
I like that. I love that he did that. That's very funny. You're gonna have to show me that if it's up on YouTube somewhere, because I think that's hilarious.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of promotion all over TikTok.
It'll be easier to find on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
That's really funny though. I looked up Spree, and apparently Joe Keery and the director looked up cringe compilations to help build the Kurt character.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
fun.
hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
that's another reason why
fucking
people
funny.
didn't like it at first.
Because it's cringy.
Yeah, because it was cringy.
Supposed to be. That's the point.
Yeah, he's supposed to be cringy. It's freaking funny.
He's a tryhard, that's why.
Yeah, pretty much. It's funny. I loved it. It was great.
You had a moth in your hair there for a second. He gave you a kiss.
Aw, that's cute. That's cute.
He said, hello, spooky friend. How are you doing?
Oh,
Just an emo butterfly. It's fine.
nice. So back to VHS because that's the last one I had on my list.
Oh,
I went alphabetical order.
Smart.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
You lady.
I was like, I don't want to have it random order this time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it alphabetical order. Like fuck it.
Do it.
But I have only seen the first installment for VHS. And I know Adam has seen, I think, all of them, maybe.
Yeah, I've watched all three iterations of it. Personally, I think the second one's my favorite, just because it one of the stories ties into aliens, and that clip from VHS 2 is just such a fun short story, and it's just the way the story progresses is so it feels almost campy, but it also just it just it's just an enjoyable story. You know, the way it tackles the gray aliens, the way it tackles everything is just the director for it, Jason Eisner did a really good job at, setting everything up and, making sure that, it the ending sucks because I don't know if you guys want spoilers, but spoiler alert
I think that's
if no
fine.
one has seen spoiler alert though, but at the ending of it when the dog gets killed, it's
No.
such like a gut-wrenching portion because it's
Fucking dog.
not a direct attack on the dog. It's not like something where you feel aggression behind it or like
It's an accident.
it. Not that it's an accident because the people obviously get abducted by the aliens at the end of it.
Yes.
And so the ending portion of that short video of VHS 2 is that the dog kind of falls from the ship and lands back on Earth.
Oh,
no.
So it's kind of violent. So if anyone out there's a dog lover, the ending is kind of sad, and not that
I am legend. I'm not going to be able to handle this.
yeah, no, it's for sure rough. But I mean, just the way it encapsulates kind of like the impending doom that's surrounding this entire story, especially as it progresses. It starts to build up this kind of atmosphere of impending doom, and it just perfectly encapsulates, I think, what a lot of these VHS short movies within the larger movie want to do, where it's about like
no one is safe, not even your dog.
Yeah, essentially, where it just feels like impending doom's all around you.
Again, helpless.
Yeah.
Fun.
We should mention that the VHS trilogy is basically anthology found footage horror.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I like that. And so you mentioned all of the movies I was going to talk about already, Kimberly. So thanks. But you know what? It's fine because you know more about this genre than I do. But one thing I do know about, it's not a film, it's a TV show that is no longer with us, unfortunately.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Fs. You can still watch it on YouTube, funny enough. But it's Animal Planet's Lost Tapes. And it's basically, I wrote this down, it's the idea of the show was to show what could possibly happen if one was to encounter cryptids and for those events to be captured on a handheld camcorder. The show premiered in 2008 and ended in 2010 with only 3 seasons. And I showed you some of it, I think, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
It's very fun. It scared the fuck out of me as a kid. Obviously, it's fictional, but it's really fun. Some of the acting is meh, but if you like little short, quote unquote, the episodes were like 40 minutes long.
I mean, it was like early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So,
2008.
yeah.
So
I would think like the acting wouldn't be that great, but I mean,
yeah. It's also strange that this is because it's found footage. It's strange to me that 2008 it came out before Paranormal Activity. Which I think is really fun. But it was a really unique show. I really, again, I was scared of it as a kid, but I really grew up to truly appreciate it because as corny as it could be, it was really fun. It's a very fun show to go back and watch. I loved it. I do highly recommend it. Even though it's corny and the acting is kind of bad sometimes, it's really fun. It's on It was Animal Planet. This is the show that came on at like 1 a.m. and scared the fuck out of kids on the weekends.
Amazing.
That was the best, though.
It is the best. Just traumatize your children at 1 a.m. by accident.
Traumatize your children at 1 a.m. I think that's a child's. Because
Yes.
they're just watching TV.
Oh no, that was the program talking. Let's traumatize your child.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's either George Lopez at 1 a.m. or the Lost Tapes.
Yeah.
No, George Lopez is on at 3.
Yeah.
You're right.
George Lopez is on at 3 a.m. because
Unless
at
they're doing
3
a
a.m.
marathon.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. But usually it's like 3 a.m. because you start hearing the goddamn theme song.
What? What is happening?
It's great though.
Or you can wake up with a fucking chupacabra eating a little girl's family. You know, that's no big deal.
That's just a Tuesday.
Chupacabra likes Mexican food. What do you mean?
Exactly.
Oh god, I bumped the table. I'm so sorry. Oh fuck.
No, you're not wrong. Exactly. That's precisely it.
Oh.
They're having Taco Tuesday.
Holy fucking shit. But
sorry, it's almost 3 a.m. for us.
It's funny.
So. No, that's fine.
There was one episode in particular that did freak me out. It was the vampire episode. Because
that one.
Yeah. Because the whole idea is this family is like hearing shit in the middle of the night. There's a fucking vampire in the crawl space under their house. And it freaked me the fuck out. It was so creepy.
Nah, because that's gross.
It is gross. It's still free. I still was struggling to want to watch it because it's childhood trauma. You're like, oh my god, is this going to be as scary as I remember it to be? It wasn't. But I remember I had to pause it and hype myself up. And you were with me with this, Kimberly. Yeah. I was like, I have to hype myself up before I watch this because it's going to freak me out. But it wasn't as bad as I remembered. But it was still creepy, but not as bad as I remembered.
Things aren't really as bad as you remember. Were a kid as you are an adult.
Yeah, when you're a kid, things are like your imagination is amplified. Especially with creepy shit like that. But it's a different concept of that I haven't heard about since with vampires. Like I've never thought of a vampire being in the fucking crawl space under your house. I don't like it. It's creepy. Just ugh. And again, found footage. It's really neat. I do recommend it. It's on YouTube.
Is it supposed to be creepy though?
Yeah. But yeah, that's literally all I I'm so sad. Although I did do a little thing. I said, what makes found footage scary? Realistic reactions of the characters, usually, and the shaky camera for a unique movie watching experience. Found footage is typically filmed in first person, thus making the viewer/audience more immersed in the film. Sometimes, like with the Blair Witch Project, the antagonist doesn't make an appearance, thus making the minds of the audience fill in the gaps. What does the witch look like? What are her motives, if any at all? Sometimes the mind comes up with something that is much more terrifying than what the being actually is, thus making the Blair Witch and other found footage films as effective as they are. What the mind can come up with can be absolutely terrifying sometimes, which is why I think films like the Blair Witch Project are as terrifying as they are. But that was my little thought process as I ended my notes. I had fun this episode. It was very fun to talk about found footage. I'm very excited about watching the Blair Witch for the first time because I know it's gonna freak me the fuck out. Also, I know those two dudes are assholes, but
no, it's gonna be a fun experience. I think that's what's important with found footage as a genre. Not only is it obviously to scare you and to have that kind of horror element, but it's just supposed to be a different type of storytelling. It's honestly, I think it's a fun way to experience a horror film, just because it's
Yeah.
such a unique experience. Like I was saying earlier, where it's a very personal experience in a sense where you're viewing stuff from your own lens, so you
Mhm.
can kind of experience it on your own
It's like
and
you
experience.
are that character because it's the first person shot.
Yeah, exactly. And like for example, too, like look at how Kimberly really liked the marked ones because they had that personal twist of taking place somewhere where Kim's familiar with. It's somewhere where Kim grew up.
Yeah, which I can definitely understand.
Yeah. It's was also like the cultural aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like also we hardly ever see like Latinx people in these type of and even when we do, we're just like caricatures all the time.
Which is lame. I hate that. Fuck you guys. But I hope in the future we get more information for you because it's really cool, and I like learning about a lot.
It was really
very fun,
really cool seeing like them being the entire movie.
The food is not half bad either. I have to say, Kimberly. I love your food. So good. Making me fucking fat over here, dude.
I don't know, man. I just like to eat, so
do it same though. Eating's nice. Yeah, that's all I have.
that's all I got.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on everything I wanted to talk about. One of the big things that I'm just gonna circle back to use fucking my office language. I hate that that's part of my normal language now. The term circle back, but anyway, um, that found footage is just it extends beyond horror, and I think that's really cool because it was a movie style that it had a huge foothold primarily in horror, but I think as directors got to see different techniques with it, different things that you can do with it, they branched out to even like comedies. Like look at Project X is considered a found footage film just because it's POV. It's something
Yeah.
that was shot on essentially a handycam where you're experiencing it as the characters experience it.
Hardcore Henry, let's fucking go.
Yeah, exactly. That's another POV found footage kind of film where
That's a very fun movie.
yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the hallmarks of this genre, not only in horror but in any sort of type of movie. It's always somehow fun. You somehow feel involved just because of the nature of it. I think that's one of the hallmarks of found footage. And I think that's why it works so well with horror because, when you feel involved with the horror film, when you feel that kind of interaction, you become more of emotionally invested. You become more invested in your attention. It holds you, and you experience it a lot differently than just a normal film where you don't have that kind of channel of interaction.
It's also why Outlast is such a terrifying fucking game. Firstly, that is found footage. Essentially, you're creating the found footage.
Yeah.
But it's just not even because of the fact you have a camcorder. First person in general, in like not only but like also video games, is very effective because you are the character. Quite literally, you are playing the character, and that's why like stuff like PT is so terrifying, and obviously Outlast. I couldn't last an hour in Outlast, and just it's so on and so forth. First person POV is so effective in any form of media, whether or not it's horror. And I hope we get to see found footage with sometime in the near future, or just more ARGs with backrooms.
Those are fun.
Those are very fun. I love those. Still shocked that Backrooms is Blender because it doesn't look like it. Like
people put a lot of time and effort into getting it running. So
yeah,
it's very neat.
Yeah,
very neat. Sorry, there's a moth in my face. It landed on my hand. He flew up in my face.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got. Is that all you got?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Like I said, we kind of touched on everything I wanted to talk about. This is a genre that's very near and dear to my heart, and it's something that I was very excited to come onto this podcast and talk about because I have such a love for it.
Hell yeah.
I always love having just super passionate about the topic we're going to talk about.
It's fucking great.
So great.
This was a very fun episode.
Oh,
for sure. Well, Little Spooks, that's going to be it for today.
So join us next week as we don't really discuss anything because we're going to be on vacation next week.
Yeah.
But we will be back on September 10th with a paranormal TV show, The Haunted.
Fuck yeah, let's fucking go, bitch. I'm excited to talk about this fucking show. Write it down in my journal.
That's going to be all Lexi.
Yes. Surprisingly on Animal Planet. You guys should go watch it if you can find it anywhere. It's on DVD somewhere. I don't fucking know if it's available for streaming, but whatever. But anyway, don't forget to rate us and tap that bell icon on Spotify so you don't miss an episode. Real quickly, this is just added in. Thank you guys for 50 listeners. We just hit 50 listeners.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys, on Anchor. Thank you. And I think that counts with Spotify as well.
Yes, it does, because it's connected to it.
Yeah, so thank you guys. We appreciate you. If you want to follow the Guarded by Demons socials, we're on Twitter at Guarded Demons, and we're also on Anchor, as mentioned, YouTube, and Instagram at Guarded by Demons. We also have an email, guardeddemonpod@gmail.com, if you want to write in and suggest some topics, movies, games we could talk about, play on the podcast, and tell us how we did. Be nice about it, or your girl will cry. Please.
Yes, she runs the email. Also, you have until September 25th to send us your ghost stories.
Yes, we will be doing a ghost stories episode where we will be talking about our own experiences with my friend Joey Cruz. And who else is going to be on there?
Diane.
And Diane, that's right. So me, Kimberly, Joey, and our friend Diane, we're going to be sharing our experience. Wow.
We're going to be sharing our experiences, but also we are going to share yours.
And you can send it in anonymously.
Or you could send it with your social handle. Or if you just want to send us your name with it.
Yeah. I also do want to preface...
whatever you...
Yeah. I also do want to preface, if you have stories that have been passed down in your family, feel free to share those too, because I think that's very fun. Yes.
I, for one, am very excited for that episode just because I love hearing different experiences. And like I said before, I'm going to be sharing some of my own. So, I hope if you make the cut and, you end up reading them for everyone to hear, just because I think it's cool when we share different experiences that we've had, and it's just something that's fun to do.
Hell yeah.
It definitely is. So do you have anything you want to plug?
Honestly, the only thing is I can think to plug right now would just be my socials. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JACRU95. I stream sometimes on Twitch. My handle on there is Ambush Elephant, all one word. Like I said, I haven't streamed in a while, but if you can throw me a follow, that'd be cool. But other than that, I really don't have much to plug, and I'm just happy to have been invited, and I really enjoyed this episode.
Hell yeah, we had fun talking to you, dude. It's so fun.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Hopefully, I'll be back for another episode.
Hopefully.
Oh, definitely. Just message us in the group and let me know what episode you would want to be on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So once again, I am Kimberly, and if you want to follow me on my personal account, I am the Lesbian Spook on Twitter, and I am Spooky Scary Lesbian on Twitch and Tumblr. I play some horror games on Tumblr, on Twitch, and hopefully in October we are going to play The Quarry. And towards the end of October, we are both going to be playing the DLC for Resident Evil Village on our respective channels.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll be playing Until Dawn on your channel or my channel. Either one.
Either or.
Yeah. But also I am going to make Lexi play FNAF with me.
Great! Can't wait for
on
the
my chat.
fucking noises. I'm beat the shit out of somebody.
Well, technically, she's not gonna be playing. She's just gonna hear everything I'm gonna be playing.
It's gonna be so loud.
It's gonna be great. Also, if you are listening or watching this on YouTube, don't forget to the bell icon to subscribe to us and to leave some comments with your suggestions. Oh, from the person who like commented the other time
On YouTube for our video game regs.
Yeah, they wanted us to talk about Creep, and we technically did talk about Creep today. Again, I have seen it. You haven't. I didn't want to really spoil that one.
Yeah.
Much of anything.
Orsa, if you're listening, shout out. Shout out to you, Orsa.
Thanks for recommending us that.
Yeah, we'll probably do a review on it sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I'll put it on the list.
Yeah. And I'm Lexi. If you want to follow me on Twitch, it's Semi-Pro Eagle, where I play a variety of games, and I do draw from time to time. Lately, I've been drawing Stray. I actually have, I used a webcam for the first time on Twitch. So that was fun. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to play on game-wise, other than the crazy shit we're going to be doing in October. But yeah, we'll be doing that soon. Hopefully.
Hopefully. All right. Stay spooky.